Well, I think it's a good start. We kind of do have a big deal with us in our quote-unquote studio today. We have a special guest, but first we got to do a little intro.
A little introduction. Jackson, go for it.
This is the Freehub Podcast, coming to you live from the Sunset District of San Francisco, California, on a beautiful Sunday evening. And tonight we have a special guest with us, kind of spontaneous. We weren't expecting this one. We have none other than Chelsea Kimball with us. If you don't know who Chelsea is, go look her up. She's been killing the free ride scene, TDS Enduro, Freeride Fiesta, probably most famously just coming back from the DarkFEST series and hitting a 90-foot jump, which is insane. So we're really lucky to have her here talking with us. We met yesterday and asked her if she wanted to be on the podcast, and she was cool enough to agree.
Yeah. It was pretty random how we met you, too, because I was going up the hill with Andrew, and you passed us by, and I had no idea who you were before yesterday, and I was just like, hey, how are you doing? We had like a 10-second small talk. You kept going up the hill, and then I saw you there talking with Sebastian, and then Sebastian was like, whoa, you do not know who you're talking with right now? And I was like, no, I'm sorry, dog. And then he proceeded to introduce me to you, and yeah. Thankfully, we asked you to come to the podcast. You agreed, and now you're here. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. Sebastian's a man, making connections.
Yeah. Big caliber of a first guest to the podcast. We're nervous. So.
I mean, I don't have any guns, so I don't know what kind of caliber it'd be.
But do you shoot guns every once in a while?
Yeah, I just did for like the first time in forever. My old boss came down to the desert and we shot some really cool guns.
Nice.
It was pretty fun.
Nice.
I like guns.
They are fun.
Yeah, but
well, you said you're from Arizona. I feel like that's a good segue. You're from Arizona. What city exactly?
I was born in Mesa, Arizona.
Nice.
Phoenix area. It's just a broad metropolis of city.
nice.
Cool. Nice.
What's been happening in your life for like the last 3 months? What have you been up to?
Let's see, 3 months. 3 months ago, we're in May, April, March, February. I was cleared to ride again February 28th. I had thumb surgery in December. And the doctor cleared me to ride February 28th? No, that's when I got the pins taken out.
How did you get the pins in the first place? What was the crash?
What happened?
Okay, so I never crashed. It was horrible. I don't need to crash to get hurt, I guess. But I was riding at Fest Sessions Polska last year in June, and I just came up a little short on a jump and landed rear wheel heavy, and just whatever, like landing really hard, the force of the handlebars going into the webbing space between my index finger and thumb tore the ligament that attaches like the base of the thumb to the wrist.
Oh.
Something that nobody ever injures. So I had to have multiple appointments with like 4 different surgeons, like trying to find the best surgeons out there to like help me find out what's wrong. And it took a while.
Wow.
Oof.
Yep.
I've never heard of someone hurting that part, but that would be vicious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you able to ride in the meantime?
I did. I finished out the season and everything by strapping my hand on the bar. It was too painful to use my thumb. So I rode with my thumb above the bar, and then I had a strap that I like wrapped around my hand and around the bar. It would release in the case of a crash. And I did crash multiple times and it came off. Whoa. Like, you know how gymnasts kind of wrap a strap around a bar to add grip strength? It's kind of like that. So, yeah.
I tried that once. Everyone told me to do that, and it did not work. So that's pretty impressive. You got that going. Yeah.
It created a lot of bad habits, really, I think. But I was able to finish out the season. Who knows if it was the right decision, but there's no guidebook on like what decisions to make.
Yeah.
So
How's the hand feeling now?
Really good. Yeah, I actually just cased a jump today and it was incredibly painful. But other than that, it's been great.
Nice.
We just rode the awesome trails that you just showed me, and I had no problem. So I'm pretty happy.
Yeah. If you don't follow Chelsea on Instagram, look up Chelsea Sends It and scroll down and find the video of the pins being pulled out of her hand. It's pretty gnarly. I just want to know, what was that like when they pulled the pins out? Could you feel them moving?
So, it was so strangely not painful in any way. Like she had those pliers and just like pulled as hard as she could. Like you could tell she was pulling hard.
Yeah.
Was it like shaking from how hard she was pulling, or was it pretty smooth?
No, she was like yanking. Like
Yeah.
It wasn't like violently yanking, but definitely yanking. And then it was just like, I don't even know how to describe it. Just a super strange pulling sensation. And then next thing you knew it, they were out.
Wow.
Nice.
Yep. They're in my van right now.
Oh, you still
souvenir.
have the screws?
Yeah, I saved them
Damn.
because I save stupid stuff like that, I guess.
Nice.
Wow.
Well, I have some big questions for you regarding some big jumps. Fest series. You've been killing it at the Fest series, most recently DarkFEST in South Africa.
Which I think broke the internet recently with those jumps.
Yeah, the new edit just came out.
Oh, it was
and it's a good edit. I noticed that on this Fest series, there were more girls ripping than ever before. So I don't know if you have like some sort of insight on that, because, you know, I've never seen so many women competing in the Fest series events. So
It's awesome.
Last year was the first year ever that women were at DarkFEST. We were lucky enough to be invited, and getting there last year, all the ladies were way more timid. This year we got there, and I don't know if it was just like the right mix of ladies this year. Everybody just came out swinging. Like,
Yeah, it popped off. Yeah.
Yep. It was pretty incredible because the guys too, like the 110 was hit on the first day of riding, I think.
Jeez.
I think Tom hit it and flipped it on the first day of riding. Like,
So
that was the
just
first day.
crazy.
Oh my God.
Either the first day or the second day. It was pretty incredible. So
How
it was the
many-
men and women going off.
How many days is an event like Fest series?
So technically the event starts on Monday and ends on Saturday, but everybody was kind of already there on Saturday and Sunday. So and those were actually the best weather days. So the riding started a little bit early, and the sessions were just insane.
Damn.
I bet. What was I got the two jumps I'm curious about. I think everyone wants to know is the step up and then the 90 footer. Like, what's it like rolling up to that step up?
Fast. It is so incredibly fast. Like oh man, there's no feeling like just going as fast as you can possibly go at a lip that is taller than a 2-story building.
That's so insane.
It's so crazy, because if the wind is blowing the wrong direction, you could come up really short. So like if you don't tuck enough, or if you don't
Yeah, like
pump
how much
in the bottom,
are you like full like old school downhill racer below the bars?
oh yeah, like you get as low as you possibly can if it's running slow. It's pretty crazy.
What about like your shocks and tire pressure? You have those like maxed
Oh
out?
yeah, I want to know about that.
Yeah, so this year I went with a 510-pound spring, because for
Damn.
most of the big jump things, I run a 500-pound spring. And I've had the same 500-pound spring for like 3 years, and I think it's getting a little softer just from use over time.
Yeah.
So right before I went, I got a 510-pound spring, and I'm like, oh, it's the only one I could find, really. So I'm like, oh, it's close enough, probably won't make a big difference. And I got there, and I had some brake issues, so I wasn't able to ride the first day, and like not really until the second half of the second day. And then once I did ride a little bit, I just felt totally off on the bike. Like it didn't feel like I was like riding with the bike. I wasn't feeling in the bike. The cornering wasn't right. And
Do you find it hard when you travel somewhere till all of a sudden there's this pressure, like I have to be on, I have to ride really well?
oh, it's so hard. Like I'm learning how to deal with it every day and every event. Because yeah, it's really hard. I feel like I tried to mentally prepare this time, but it didn't go the way that I was hoping.
Yeah,
but still,
getting a little stuff. But this is interesting. What do you do to mentally prepare? Like you're flying, hit the biggest jumps in the world. You're going to South Africa. what's going on in your brain? That would scare the crap out of me.
Visualizing, just thinking very specifically about what it will feel like as I'm hiking up to the top, then what it'll feel like when I'm sitting there, like if there's a little bit of wind, what is each corner gonna feel like? What is it gonna feel like as I crank the first crank to go into something? Like just thinking through every single step and visualizing myself jumping and landing, and everything is as far as I know about the only way to prepare for it.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? It's like, how mental is the fact, like how pressing is the fact that these jumps are so big that the consequences in case you like come in short or like you get bucked or something like that, like does the fear of such big consequences like affect you in any way?
Oh, definitely. I feel like this year I really struggled. But once I did get my bike feeling better, I came around more quickly. I guess we kind of skipped over that, the suspension setup.
Oh yeah, no, we got it. Okay, suspension setup, step up. We got it, but that was interesting. Interesting. Yeah, so suspension setup going into this step up.
Yeah, back to the suspension setup. Moral of the story: my suspension was too stiff. Like it was just too stiff. I don't know if the bike wasn't riding into the travel enough, like not enough sag. Of course, with a spring that heavy, there's not much sag at all, but yeah. I think there is too much. And it was kind of good. I mentioned that to a few other riders, and they said that they maybe softened up their fork by a few PSI, and they're like, I think it helped. So you need super stiff suspension for the speed, but I think I found out what is too stiff, at least for me.
Yeah. 510 pounds.
510 pounds is too stiff. Can't go over 500. And then the fork I run... I got a different tune this time from Suspension Syndicate. They added more like volume spacers and everything in my fork, so I was able to run like just over 190 psi. Normally I'm at 200 psi, like max psi for the Boxer. And yeah, so this time I was at like 190 something, and that felt pretty good. And then tire pressure, I think the front was at like 40 and rear's at like 45.
Oh, wow.
Holy shit.
Some riders even get like lower profile tires, or like tires with smaller knobs just to roll faster.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah, you need all the speed that you can get.
That's
for
crazy.
Sure.
Does the step up buck you at all? Is it smooth?
So, you were asking about the fear and like consequences if you crash or something. The thing with all of the fest style, or maybe not all of them, but definitely DarkFEST and Fest Sessions Polska that I rode, like the jumps are extremely scary, and yes, it's super dangerous if you crash. Like you can get horribly injured, but these jumps are also made very, very safe. Like I would say the jumps at DarkFEST are more safe than a lot of jumps at a lot of small jump parks. Mainly because of the style of the building that they've kind of developed over time. Nico Vink and a few other people kind of really started the style of building where the case pad is angled down and it's quite long. So there's no hard square edge when you come up a little short to where you don't bounce. So DarkFEST, the case pads are angled down, and then the landings are just the perfect angle, and they're so long. Like the landing for the first rocket launcher has to be over 100 foot long, easy.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So it's like the length of the jump is the landing, practically bigger.
Yeah, totally.
Wow.
But it makes it to where people can crash and not die.
Did you have any close calls?
This year, no.
Okay. That's
Last
good.
year.
Nice.
Last year, the last time I hit the rocket launcher, the first one, I actually got bucked a little bit and came down nose heavy. The rear end touched down before I washed out sideways, but like that was pretty terrifying. Oof. It could have been a lot worse.
Damn.
Oh, gnarly. That's crazy.
All right. Can I ask one more question about the Fest series?
Yeah.
Out of all the different locations for the Fest series, because it's like a traveling event, there's a Freeride Fiesta, there's Royal Fest in the UK, DarkFEST.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the ones you've ridden, which one is your favorite venue?
Of like favorite jumps, DarkFEST for
Mm,
sure.
nice.
Those jumps are just mind-blowingly wonderful.
Oh, that's dope.
Looks amazing. The whole area, just that canyon and that valley canyon, I don't know, but it just looks beautiful. Like
Oh,
the
yeah.
background and yeah.
Those rocky cliffs, like that light up with the alpenglow, like that pink hue in the sunset hours is just so gorgeous.
That's awesome.
One day I want to go to South Africa just to see
Just to see.
DarkFEST. I'll buy tickets.
Yeah.
So.
You gotta go.
I was watching some of your videos from the Freeride Fiesta. What was that? Like that drop and then the setup, the drop and then the main jump at the end. What was it like hitting that? Because that drop looks huge. When I see the GoPro footage, just any footage of it, it's like seems like a massive drop, and then you're going into a huge lip. Like, what's that like?
Yeah, it is. It is pretty big. Let's see. The first year, it definitely got into my nerves a lot more. And that first year of Fiesta, what was that? 2020, I think. It was a lot more harsh of a landing. Like it. I think when I landed that first one at the first Fiesta, my pedals even dragged the ground a little bit, just like full compression. So yeah, that drop was super intimidating that first year, and then the second year they made the landing a lot better. I think they changed the angle of the takeoff and then reshaped the landing a little bit, so it was much better. And it's just like something like that. You just have to trust the speed.
Yeah.
Starting just whether you're riding the course top to bottom or starting at a certain point, either following someone or just following the formula and trusting the speed.
Nice.
But it's so scary. Like you're hitting a massive drop and then once you land, like you're automatically looking at this lip that I think the one at Fiesta is like 22 or 23 feet tall.
Oh man.
Just the lip.
Just the lip. Like
Jesus.
you can't see anything but this basically wall in
It's like a
front of
tidal
you.
wave coming at you.
Yeah.
my
I
God.
can only imagine. It's like definitely like looking at a big old wave for big wave surfers, but maybe less dangerous.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. Big wave surfing is insane. So scary. Oh. One more question with the Fest series. Would you, in the future, I mean, obviously, we would all like to see more girls participating in this event. What do you think will make something like that possible? Like, what do you think needs to happen or will happen in order to see, like, more girls start showing up at these events and ripping as hard as you girls did?
So I feel like there's kind of a few different points in there of like women going to these events. To have more women at the events, you have to have budget for more people in general. And something like DarkFEST, it's what, 25 riders maybe? Like it's a very small number of riders, and I can guarantee you there are hundreds of people that send emails trying to get into DarkFEST every year, like probably over 100. And more budget, like maybe they could have more riders with more budget. And speaking directly to like more women at the events, a lot of it I think is like sticking your neck out there and asking. Like I think maybe some people, both men and women, just expect to be invited to something, whereas it's already hard to organize an event like that. And these riders, like their job is not to only organize the event, they're also doing their own professional riding career. So they're probably pretty overwhelmed with a lot of stuff and they can't think of everybody to invite. So if you're a girl trying to get into an event, like start sending emails, ask everyone if you can come ride there, because I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask. All they can say is no, and you'll probably send enough emails, you'll get a yes at some point.
Sweet.
I was going to ask, was there a point in your riding career when all of a sudden you started to get invites, you started to get more followers? Was there like a transition, or do you think it's been like a gradual progression? Or was there like one day and all of a sudden like your Instagram and email blew up or something?
I think when Johnny Solito created Freeride Fiesta, he created Freeride Fiesta. I saw the article come out with like the invited riders list in, I think it was like, what month was that? I don't know. I don't remember what month it was, but I remember like sitting in my van in the evening, like scrolling through Pink Bike, and I saw like the riders list. And so I immediately sent out an email, like, because I think Hannah Bergman and Casey Brown were the only girls invited. I'm like, started sending emails. Yeah. Can I come to Freeride Fiesta? And I think, thank you, Johnny, for letting me come to the event. I think after Fiesta, I definitely got a lot more recognition and a lot more followers on Instagram. Okay. Like if we're going by that. But yeah, I think Freeride Fiesta really helped my career and like get my name out to a lot of people.
That was your like foot in the door.
Yeah, I think so.
Nice.
Thank you, Johnny.
On like
shout out
personal level with your writing, do you feel like there was a moment when like you're like, okay, was there a moment you started to feel good? Like, I know, maybe don't, but like, you're like, okay, I can do this. Like, things are connecting. I'm starting to do things. Did you ever have, like, when did you start to feel that within yourself?
I think that has been such a slow progression of like my writing getting better and feeling good and really chasing after like being a quote unquote professional writer, I guess. It's been a slow progression, but in 2017, that was the year that I decided to like go out to the East Coast and race downhill for a season just to like see where it takes me. And I'm still on that ride. Like I'm still seeing where it's taken me, and it's definitely taken me to a lot of places. So
nice.
That's cool.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't feel like there's been a moment. It's just been kind of a slow progression.
Nice. More about your background. When did you get into mountain biking? Like, when did you start riding? How did you get into mountain biking? And yeah, just give us a little bit of background.
Yeah, I got into riding in 2014, I think. My friend got a job at a bike shop. She was like my climbing buddy. She got a job at a bike shop and she immediately was addicted. And I basically lost my climbing partner to mountain biking. So I had nobody to climb with. And then I finally gave in and went on a mountain bike ride with her and kind of started climbing less and less over time. But yeah, I got into it because my friend got a job at a bike shop.
Did it click immediately? Like after a first mountain bike ride? Because some people hate it. Some people hate their first mountain bike ride. Did it click for you where you're like, okay, this is dope. I'm going to keep doing this.
I loved it. I really did. I immediately loved it, but I wasn't immediately like centering my life around it. Because rock climbing was still my go-to, like my favorite thing to do, what I wanted to do all the time. So rock climbing was still my main thing for quite a few years before mountain biking took over.
Nice. Did you ever went riding when you were like younger, or like, what's your history with bicycles? Like when did you learn how to ride bicycles? Did you see yourself getting into it, or?
I think I started riding a bike pretty young. Man, I don't know about you guys, but I have trouble like remembering specific memories when I was really young.
My memory is horrible, so I'm on that train with you. But
I would guess that I started riding a bike around like age 4 or something. I'd probably ask my dad on that one. Yeah. But I do remember maybe my 7th birthday. It was just like me, my mom, my brother, and my dad, like having my birthday. My mom always made me a strawberry cake because it's my favorite. And there was like this big box on the table and it had a flag on it, like an American flag. And I totally thought my parents got me a flag for my birthday. I was all bummed. But it turned out it was a bicycle.
With like, an American flag on it. Yeah.
No, it was pink and blue if I remember right. So it was a nice little bike. Nice. But that's like the first bike that I really remember getting. I know I had one before that. My dad was awesome for getting us bikes, but...
Little do they know you'd be hitting 90-foot jumps years later.
Yep. Yeah.
Sending backflips and stuff, and that's crazy. You know, obviously you're like a traveling professional mountain biker now. Where do you like to travel?
Gosh, I like to travel everywhere. One of the things that has been tough to get used to for like traveling as a professional rider. I feel so weird saying I'm a professional rider because I just feel like a person that rides bikes. But I guess
you can.
I would call you a professional.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to get used to just traveling for short periods of time. I've always really liked traveling to some place and staying for at the very least a month, because I feel like when I go to a place for a week, I can't really get the feel of a place. Like I don't meet many local people, and I don't know. I love plants. Like I don't learn that much about the plants if I go someplace for a week so that's kind of hard to get used to. Like going to an event, staying for a week, and then leaving. Like DarkFEST, I traveled halfway around the world and stayed for 2 weeks. Like it's such a short time.
Like right when you get over jet lag, and then it's like, oh, I'm heading out now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's been pretty hard to get used to. Because I like traveling for long periods of time. One place that is my favorite, it's the first place I traveled to, like outside of the United States or outside of North America, is Thailand.
Oh.
Like
I've heard great things about Thailand.
Have you guys been?
No,
I haven't.
I've never.
I have a friend that just got back like 2 weeks ago, actually, but he loved it, and it's cheap too, is what I've heard. Super cheap, and you get really good food, and yeah.
Yep. The exchange rate definitely works in our favor. Sadly, it doesn't work in Thai people's favor to come here.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Thai people, like their culture is just so relaxed. I may be saying this wrong, but they have like a common saying like that is similar to just saying, "Oh, it's cool, it's cool, it's okay, like it's all good." Just like a very common thing.
Hakuna Matata or something.
I think it's Sabai, but it's been so long since I've been there. But yeah.
When were you there?
The last time I was there was 2019. Okay. November of 2019. November to December. Yep. There's a race that happened 2 years in a row, and since COVID they haven't had it again. The International Chiang Mai Enduro. I really hope they have it this year. If they do, I'm going for sure.
Nice.
Just super fun race.
Did you race it before?
Yeah, I've raced it 2 different years. Our crew, because there's a team, like you can enter as a team as well.
Yeah,
and
that's
our friends, our team like won 2 years in a row. So
nice.
we got to defend the title.
That's why you like it so much.
No, the trails are just awesome.
Oh,
and
really?
of course, then you're with a bunch of like Thai people that are awesome. The riding scene there is super cool.
Is it like jungle loam? Or
no, it's pretty clay-like. When it rains, it gets kind of greasy. So it can be kind of spicy if it rains, but we generally go in the dry season. November, it's still dry.
Dusty?
Pretty dusty.
Okay.
Yep.
On the note of traveling, you've ridden trails around the world. It's pretty hard to pick one, but if you had to say like there's one trail that's been your favorite or one that really stood out to you,
or at least like top 3.
Yeah.
In other countries,
just
this
worldwide.
is excluding the U.S.
It can U.S. anywhere, just in
anywhere.
your whole riding
3
career.
trails.
You can name more if you want, but
Okay, one is not a trail. It's just a line, but it's shuttleable. I don't know.
Yeah. That's a big factor. Totally.
But you can shuttle it. You gotta kind of traverse on this ridge a little bit and maybe push up a very small amount. But it's in Chile, in Antofagasta.
Oh.
You shuttle this it might be 1,000-foot slasher line down to the beach.
Oh.
Like you do it at sunset and you shuttle and then you just have this insane slasher line overlooking the ocean with like birds and sunset, and it's just pretty darn incredible.
Is it the one that they just had like a crazy enduro race on? That it drops you off at like a road? I've been seeing like crazy GoPro videos. about that?
I don't know if there was enduro race.
You know what I'm
there.
talking
Oh,
about.
it's like a super steep mountain.
Yeah, and rocky. Like the top is super rocky.
The top has some. It could be that because it does end right at a road.
I think, the GoPro footage
looks insane.
gnarly. If we're talking about the same one, it was crazy. Yeah.
The line itself isn't that gnarly. Like if you go down the kind of from the saddle, it's really pretty mellow. But you can definitely find some spicier lines on it.
Chile number 1. Let's go.
Yep. So for a line, that's awesome. Virgin Utah is just special. There's no specific trail there that I'm thinking of, but just the riding there is super special. I've made him 2 things that aren't trails. Dang.
No, those count. Those count. We'll count it.
Yeah, totally.
Gosh.
Is there what's like your favorite tech trail? Like to get your suspension working?
No, man. That's a really tough one.
Probably the shoot we did today.
San Francisco Lomers.
San Francisco Lomers.
But Lomers aren't. I guess that was still tech, but it's still a Lomer. That's kind of crazy to think of. Tech and a Lomer all at the same time?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about my favorite tech trail.
Okay, yeah.
Bootleg, I'm pretty attached. I've rode a lot in my first years racing at Bootleg Canyon,
Nevada.
In Nevada,
Oh,
yep.
I've never heard of that.
There's a trail called Ginger that is super gnarly. They don't race it anymore because it's quote unquote too gnarly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that means people just need to start getting gnarlier again. But but yeah, the rocks there all want to kill you. Like if you crash, you will get stabbed by a rock.
Oh, it looks dry and hot too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very dry, very hot.
But it's fun.
It's super fun. As long as you're like willing to ride over pointy rocks.
Yeah.
Now, I have more questions about your traveling lifestyle. How is the van life? What are the pros and cons of? Because you've been doing it for a while now, right?
Yeah, I started living in my van in 2011.
Whoa.
So it's been a while. Yeah, there's a lot of pros and a lot of cons. One con I'm dealing with right now is N+1. Everybody may know of the number of bikes you have +1, and that's the number that you need. But my van is quite small, and I don't have enough space for N+1. So I'm trying to... That's something that I got to deal with. Like if I had a garage, I would have plenty of space. But I don't. So that's a con.
How
just
many
space.
How many bikes you have right now?
Too many.
Give us a number.
Just too many. I have 6.
Whoa, that's a solid
a healthy number.
That's a good number. And 2 of those are e-bikes. So
I gotta sell one e-bike or give it to my dad. I may give it to my dad because he would have fun on it.
he would probably be pretty stoked.
But instead, tomorrow I'm gonna ride it in Marin. Thank you for letting me charge it.
Hey,
yeah.
no worries.
Hey.
No worries.
Well, 6 bikes for a pro rider who's sponsored, that's a good number.
And you
it's
have
good.
And you have 6 bikes in your Astro?
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
wow, that's crazy.
Too many. And I have a scooter as well, like a little Honda PCX 150.
In your van?
No, not in
I was like, how do you fit all that?
That would be another level. No, it's I have a rack that goes on the back of my van and it goes up on the rack and I carry it that way. But I left it at my friend's house for now. I got to pick it up on Wednesday. But anyways.
Since you're a sponsored rider, I bet you get goodies from all the brands that sponsor you. Like, for example, not only bikes, but the components that you gave away, like Pit Viper glasses, pedals, all this stuff. Does all that fit in your van too with all the other bikes? And it fits. I mean, it's all in there right now. I definitely look like a homeless person that has way too much stuff. And I mean, I kind of am. But yeah, my whole family is really good at fixing things. And I was just raised that you don't throw away something if it still has use out of it. I struggle with clothes. I'll wear a t-shirt until it's totally stained and has holes. And then I'm oh, I'm supposed to be a professional rider. I should probably wear a shirt without stains, especially when I have it. But yeah, throwing stuff away is really hard for me. So
that goes to say I have like I save derailleurs that are bent or something because you never know when you have to pull a part off of it.
Really bad habit of
that.
Yeah, but it's also good because like then you can change out the pulley wheel when it breaks on one bike.
Yeah.
So it's good to have around, but then the space issue comes back of like how many spare parts do I need?
Yeah.
It's tough.
Speaking of it, who are your sponsors?
Specialized is my main sponsor. They really have treated me well over the past few years. I actually just toured the Specialized, like it's not a factory, but the kind of the base in Morgan Hill, day before yesterday. Super cool. They have like state-of-the-art equipment, and I didn't get to tour the machine shop. I was told
that been cool.
I wanted to, but I guess just in case they have new secret stuff coming out, they don't want fresh eyes on it.
Yeah.
But I guess like it's a multi-million-dollar machine shop that they can make just about anything.
Whoa.
It sounds super cool. So maybe I'll have to tour it again. But yeah, I got to check out like where they can make whatever apparel things, like all the fabrics and the helmet lab. We got to smash a helmet like on the, I don't even know what it's called, like
Smasher.
the smasher, the helmet smasher.
Yeah.
Do you think they just have like a pile of helmets to like smash for every visitor?
Like a worker
Like,
has
we got visitors. Let's smash with helmets.
I mean, that would be pretty cool, but I didn't see a pile of helmets.
Okay.
They just had one that they had done 2 other impacts on, so we put a 3rd impact in it.
See what happened.
Yep, that person wouldn't have been very well.
No. Well, that's cool. Specialized that's a good sponsor to have, I imagine.
Big brand.
Yeah.
Nice.
Big brand, really good bikes. Like I've been so happy with the bikes. They're pretty awesome. And then Pit Viper and Reverse Components. Reverse is based in Germany, and like they make all sorts of cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then Pit Viper, everybody knows Pit Viper.
Nice. You gave me a free pair yesterday, so
Yeah.
they look sick too.
You like the clear ones?
Yeah, I do like the clear ones actually.
I think I only wore them once when I was out in Virgin and the wind was blowing and it was just dust everywhere, and the side pieces on the eyes. I was like, oh, I can actually open my eyes right now.
Nice.
Yep.
Another van life question. What would be your dream van setup?
Chevy Astro van.
Oh, I'm living it.
Living the dream.
No, I have actually recently, like everybody's been telling me for probably 5 years that I need a bigger van, and I'm starting to agree with them a little bit, just because right now I have too many bikes to fit in my van.
Vans are expensive right now.
They're
Everyone's
so
trying to buy
expensive.
them. Yeah.
150K Sprinter.
Starting.
Just that's like a starter price.
So expensive. Yeah,
Yeah.
people build them out and spend like $300,000.
Insane.
Ugh.
Yeah.
They are so nice though. Being
They're
one of
homes,
those
though.
things. Oof.
Yeah, but
You need $300,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have that kind of money. I sleep on the back of my truck when I go camping. So.
Yep. But dream vans. I've been thinking. I'm all about good gas mileage. Like I don't want to. I don't want to pay all of my money at the gas pump. So it would have to be something that gets good mileage. And then I do kind of like a shorter roof van, so that I can go on like forest roads that have low hanging trees and fit in parking
some of the
garages.
sprinters are like 20, 30 feet tall. Like they're huge. Yeah.
Super high. But yeah, I don't know specifically what I would want.
What mileage do you get on your Astro?
About 18.
Oh,
generally.
that's solid.
Yeah.
It's
pretty
not
solid.
bad. It could be better.
What year is it?
It is an 03.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Nice. I like the color too. It's a pretty nice color.
It's brown.
It blends in well. It's a good blender. All right.
Okay, I just got a random question for you. You had to ride one bike for the rest of your life. What would it be? I was going to say trail versus downhill, but then I realized now you have an e-bike, and we were talking about that earlier in the e-bike addiction. So how real is the e-bike addiction? If you had to pick one, what would it be?
Sadly, I don't think it would be an e-bike if it was one bike forever, because an e-bike needs electricity. And I already have to spend hours at a coffee shop generally to try to charge my e-bike, so that would be quite a hassle. Especially if the end of the world happens and then power is just out forever.
Yeah.
A regular bike is going to be better off. So
Trail or downhill?
definitely trail. I would have to be able to pedal. Maybe the Stumpy Evo.
Enduro?
The Enduro, oh man. One bike forever.
Yeah.
It'd either be
One
the
bike to rule
Enduro
them
or the
all.
Stumpy Evo. Because
Okay.
the Enduro is big enough for hucks.
Yeah.
But the Stumpy Evo is small enough to like pedal on super long distances and still be happy.
So you just walk into a coffee shop with your e-bike and ask if you can charge it?
No, I take the battery out and hide it in my backpack so nobody sees.
Oh, you
smart.
go.
Yep.
Smart.
Yep.
I just had that question in my head after you
Take
said
the
it.
bucket. I've thought about trying movie theaters, but I don't know if there's outlets in the movie theaters.
By the trash cans. They are by the doors. But I don't know if you want to leave your battery there.
No, it'd have to be in with me. Unless I could hide it behind the trash can, but I don't know. It's kind of sketchy.
Somebody just dumps their soda on your battery.
Oh.
I wonder if you could go to like the electric car charging station somehow and like super like speed charge your e-bike, you know, in like 30 seconds or something.
That
We will get there.
I should ask Specialized about that.
Like an
There you
adapter that you
Yeah.
plug in.
Yeah.
You heard it here
Honestly,
first,
though.
Specialized.
Like you're in, you know, in Tahoe and you're like, okay, I got 30 minutes to charge my bike. I need to ride tomorrow. Like
That's a
Specialized. You hear that?
that's a great idea.
Just saying, on your new multi-million-dollar labs, you know.
Yeah.
And then with that money, you can buy the Sprinter van. And then
Oh.
there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
What else was I was gonna ask you another thing.
Maybe
Oh
a little
yes.
more.
Social media. So, you know, you have sponsorships. I'm guessing that these brands that sponsor you want you to produce content. Also, in the world of mountain biking, I feel like it's easier to like spread your presence and be better known through social media. I am guessing that a lot of your time has to be spent on social media. How does that work for you?
I really try not to spend too much time on social media because I feel like it drains my soul. But because that scrolling, like once you start, it's so
Yeah.
hard to just
So,
stop
yeah,
scrolling.
20 minutes
Mindless-
go by and
yeah.
you're like, oh my God, what just happened? Yeah.
Yeah. So I try not to spend too much time on it. That being said, I try to post like pretty often. I've been almost posting every day because I feel like I have so much content I have to post every day.
Do you have any requirements from your sponsors? It's like you have to post X amount and
Let's see. I am supposed to. And
Is it part of your contract?
and I'm in not in all of my contracts, but in I think at least one of them I do have a specific amount, and I am not working hard enough to keep up. I'm working hard, just not specifically in that way.
yeah.
Do you ever take like social media breaks or feel like the need of a social media break?
Oh, totally. Definitely. Yeah, I do. I'd say the last one was actually after I hit my head at Proving Grounds in September, because supposedly looking at screens is really bad after you have a concussion. So I tried to do 2 weeks where I only looked at my phone for like time or if somebody called me, which was actually kind of nice.
Yeah, it's nice. Like when your phone breaks, it's like, it's nice.
And just not having like I guess that was maybe the first time in a really long time where I wanted to not look at my phone more than look at it. Like I didn't have those instances where I picked up my phone and like, oh wait, I shouldn't do that.
Like you just naturally didn't.
I just purely did not want to look at it because I wanted to get better, and like I didn't want my head to be as
It was so much more of a priority than
healing was so much more of a priority. I'm glad you asked that because that's the first time I've realized that I really wanted to not look at my phone more than look at it.
Well, that's a good thing to feel, honestly. I have not felt that. I always tell myself, it's like, I need a social media break. I need a social media. And it's crazy because the first thing I do when I get on my cell phone is like, it's a reflex. I just go to Instagram.
Yep.
I just click the thing and then it's like, I completely forget. It's like, oh, I was supposed to like text my mom back. And I'm on Instagram scrolling.
They literally hired neuroscientists to figure out the best way to do it, and they tracked eye movements and they got it down to a science.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
But you can't, it's really hard to be a professional athlete without it.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, follow the Freehub Podcast on all the platforms out there. Apple Music,
Yeah.
Spotify.
No, follow Chelsea. Chelsea sends
Also
it.
Chelsea.
Yeah, she's got great content. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how I found about you. I think it was after probably Freeride Fiesta like 2 years ago. I think that's when I found your account. And yeah, and then, I mean, kind of random. But I was watching you hit DarkFEST last week. And then I should have started the podcast at the beginning of this. But yesterday I'm at Pacifica, and then I meet her. She offered to help bring a piece of wood up for the Step Up Jam. She's like, "Oh, my name's Chelsea," and I'm like, "There's no way that's Chelsea Sends It." Like, no. And then like halfway through the thing, Mateo's like, "Oh yeah, that's Chelsea Sends It." And I go, "What?" And I freaked out. So
I also had no idea who you were before.
It's okay.
Because I've seen you in edits before. I've seen you on like the Fest series edits, and I'm like, damn, she is ripping. Also, Vero, I've seen her rip on the edits. She rips with the 50-1 crew a bunch. That's how I got to know her.
Yeah, she's got so much style and like slapping the corners. She always has those quick videos of just ripping the corners.
Also, her fits are always on point. She has like
fits.
Like
I don't know what that is.
Her
clothes.
Her
style. She makes them.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah, she has style on and off the bike.
Yeah.
So, shout out. If she wants to come to a podcast, maybe one day. We can only dream, though.
Fly her in from Wales.
Yeah. The 50-1 crew.
I couldn't understand a word of what those guys would.
Oh yeah, we try to listen to 51. We love the 50-1. They're like our favorite riders, but we listen to their podcasts. And I wonder if they're listening to ours and be like, "Your California accents are so thick." Like,
they use so many different words that we don't use. It's hard for me to understand.
Yeah, I struggle.
Yeah,
they all seem pretty cool lads.
I'm resisting the urge to do a really bad impersonation
dude.
now, but I don't think that should be on the internet.
My girlfriend rips me apart for my bad British accent impressions. But, yeah, the internet will have to wait for that one. Yeah. In your opinion, what's the state of like the freeride scene and women being in the freeride scene? Like, what's from your perspective, like what's the state right now, and what would you like to see?
What's the state right now? Women's freeride has gotten a lot more exposure in the last few years. Just companies using more women riding in general for marketing, and then just different events. Like a lot of events have had women at them, but maybe they weren't put up in media. But it's also kind of progressed with women's riding. Like we haven't been at the same level as the men for a long time. We're still not. But
I don't know. You guys catching up really fast.
I think
dude, like even that girl Olivia yesterday, like throwing Sui. She was like 14, throwing Sui no-handers. That was crazy. I can barely do that. She was killing it. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, the progression has been super crazy. It's so awesome to see, and there's so many young girls like that, like Olivia, that are out there and just like having a good time and doing their thing, and that's what it takes is another generation, because that's how it goes. Like one generation comes and then the next comes in. Like it won't continue unless we have new riders coming up and like really being interested in it and loving it and going after it. For the state of women's freeride, I don't know. That's
it's a rough question.
Kind of a tough question.
What do you think's coming in the future?
Yes.
In the future, I would love to see more freeride events in the United States. I don't know what this isn't just for women.
I think everyone would.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know what it is what is wrong with us in the United States that we have Proving Grounds and Rampage, and then like Highland had a few slopestyle has their own series of slopestyle competitions, and then Camp Royal has one also on the East Coast, and then I don't know if it happened last year, but the Little Big at Truckee Bike Park was also a slopestyle competition. But for as big as our country is, like it's pretty sad how we don't have anything. Like we need to do better, and I don't know if that takes better, like more sponsors, like putting in money to create these events. But if that's what it takes, like I know the American scene would gain a lot from that.
Yeah. We're too good at lawsuits.
I know. So I say every time like someone brings up an event in the Bay Area, the response is always the liability. Like, oh, someone could die doing this event, so we can't host it. Not in our town, not in our city. And I feel like that's just all of the U.S. except for parts of Utah that are just like, yeah, put on Rampage, put on Formation, go for it. But yeah,
it's tough.
Can we speak about Redbull Formation?
Yeah.
I know it popped up. it's like last year was the second year, right?
Last year was the third year.
Third year? Okay.
Yeah, first year was what, 2020? Did Rampage happen in 20? I can't remember.
I have no idea.
Oh my god, I can't remember either.
Because it was right before Rampage, whatever year that was. But it had, maybe Rampage still happened in 21, 22. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I was trying to think. I was like, Seminux Tail Whip was 21. I was trying to figure out who won 20. I think 21 is when Tom...
Red Raider has been winning them lately, but...
I think Red Raider did the giant 360 drop in 2020.
Let's talk about Formation.
Anyway, sorry.
Formation.
Okay, yeah.
Have you competed in... Well, it's not like a competition, right?
It's just a jam, basically. The goal is to get top to bottom runs, but it's just a jam where we build whatever we want and ride it.
Nice.
It's pretty awesome. I was kind of against it, or like... Not against it, but when I first heard about it, I'm like, why isn't it a competition? Because I guess I do enjoy competition, and looking at Rampage, like, competition's pretty cool in the respect of you can get something like Rampage.
Especially if you're risking yourself, like the thought you get the reward of winning for that risk.
Yep.
Yeah.
But once I went to Formation and kind of saw what it was in person and experienced it, and saw like there's progression, but it's like all the camaraderie and just learning together and all of that was really, really cool. And just having an event that is kind of an open format for riders to do what they want and come and like push themselves to do their best in the way that they want is pretty awesome to have an event like that.
Nice.
But yeah, sadly, it got, it's normally happening like right now, but the event was, I mean, at least as it was, is canceled this year.
No way.
Well, canceled for May. They're thinking maybe it'll happen later in the year, but...
Why did they cancel? Weather?
I think there's going to be changes to the format of the event. From what I hear, maybe... some of the sponsors don't want it to be the same format as it was. Like maybe they want a competition. I'm not sure. It's kind of a tough point to talk about, I think, because there hasn't been any publications on it. Like I don't know how the average person's supposed to find out about it. But yeah, from what I hear, maybe some people are pushing to have it as a competition, which is kind of interesting.
Would you want it to be a competition? I guess you kind of said that, but you would want it to be a competition, do you think?
I think my opinion has kind of developed in the way of the ideal. And I think a lot of the current professional women athletes can agree that we want a women's category at Rampage. Ooh. Like if we have a competition, like we want to be at Rampage, we want to be
totally.
I would love
we
that.
want to be
Build
on
your
TV.
Own lines.
We want our own lines. We want to be at the top, dropping in, just like the male athletes that have gotten there. Like that is what we want.
I think there'd be a huge viewership for it. I think it would. I think it'd be really positive and cool.
I would love to see that, honestly. Because then you're like held up to the same standard. It's like everybody's playing in the same field. It's open for all.
It would be pretty sick to see some girls.
Also, you can like build your own lines and stuff and showcase them to the world. That would be so sick.
Yeah.
Also, get your team of diggers, maybe all girls too. That would be awesome.
Dude, like some 16-year-old girl throws like a bigger like no-hander than Kyle Straight or something. All the guys have like ego breakdowns. They're like, what's going on?
Oh my god. Yeah. I would 100% be down for a female category at Rampage.
Yeah, I think. I mean, from most of the people that I talk to, everybody seems stoked to have that as an option. Yeah. But who knows if that is on the table for the creators of Formation and Rampage. I don't know. I'm guessing that there's meetings going on behind the scenes right now talking about this. And I wish it could be more public because this isn't about just us girls that are involved in Formation right now. It's about the next generations. And like whatever happens now has a really big effect for the next like 5-10 years down the road. So it's we want it done right. But if they don't make anything public, I don't know how we help make those decisions the right way.
Interesting. I bet if they did like a pink bike poll or an internet poll, it would be like everyone would be on board. Like, hell yeah. What's next outside of possible formation or possible rampage? What's next on the radar for you?
Just like next time in the timeline.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the Kamzink Invitational in Reno. I'm gonna be there on Friday. I'm getting there a little early to help with the course or ride or whatnot.
Oh, like this Friday?
Yep, this Friday.
Coming up. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Sweet.
But actually, before that, I'm gonna go down to North Fork, California. It's down by Yosemite.
Nice. It'll be beautiful right now.
It should be super
Gushing.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Gushing.
Like literally, all the rivers are going crazy.
But yeah, I'm gonna go visit a farm that I lived on for almost a year. I volunteered on this organic vegetable farm and goat dairy, and I'm gonna go and visit them because the family that owns the farm is just so awesome. I miss them.
You gonna go do some work there too?
I'm only going for the day because I gotta go to Cam's event. But I mean, if I get there in the morning, which I plan to, then I'll do it. Yeah, I want to work.
Nice.
I love working with plants and getting my hands in the dirt, and it's fun.
All right, what's your favorite vegetable?
Broccoli.
Ooh, quick answer.
Quick answer. For
Favorite
sure.
fruit?
Favorite fruit. This includes berries and other fruit?
Yes.
Yeah.
It
Berries
does.
count.
Strawberries.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
I like strawberries. Favorite dessert?
My mom's strawberry cake.
Ooh.
Easy.
So are you a cake over cupcakes type of person?
So the weird thing about this strawberry cake, because I make it all the time. Well, not all the time. I don't even have an oven.
You have an oven in the van? In the Astro?
I got an oven. I got bikes.
I got 6 bikes, an oven, a hot tub.
So this particular cake, for some reason, if you make it in a regular cake pan, it doesn't taste as good. You have to make it in one of those big, is it an Angel Food cake pan that has the hole in the middle?
Uh-huh.
If you don't make it in that, it's just not as moist and delicious. So in cupcake form, yes, it's still good, but it's just not as good.
You should bake it, and then bring it out to an event. Maybe you'll give people superpowers to hit jumps or something.
Maybe I will.
Yeah, maybe that's why you're able to hit big jumps.
Yeah,
It's
cake courage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cake courage.
You guys are really inspiring me to find an oven to make.
I mean, I want to
right
try
now.
this cake. It sounds delicious.
It's so
I love cakes,
good.
but I would say I pick ice cream over cakes for desserts.
What kind of ice cream?
Ben & Jerry's pistachio is my go-to.
Pistachio.
I love a good pistachio, especially
Pistachio's
chunky pistachio with a bunch of pistachios in there.
Ooh.
Every bite is crunchy.
You got really passionate.
I'm going
about
off
that
on the Ben & Jerry's
Big
pistachio.
pistachios.
Ben & Jerry's, if you want to give me a sponsorship or something, I'll gladly rep. So
I will eat Ben & Jerry's.
Ben & Jerry's.
Got to make a trip out there they're in Vermont?
Yeah.
That'd be cool to go to the factory.
They'll probably give you the VIP treatment.
I mean, maybe I should apply for
Hey,
sponsorship
send-
at Ben & Jerry's.
send
I mean,
an email.
We should write Ben & Jerry's hey, there's not enough free ride events. Ben & Jerry's free ride event.
yeah.
And they have a special ice cream flavor.
What's your favorite ice cream, Jackson?
Just anything chocolate. Chocolate gelato would be it.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's good.
gelato.
How about you?
Favorite flavor. I don't know if it's my favorite, but one of my go-tos is chocolate chip cookie dough.
I'm not a fan of cookie dough, but I know a lot of people. Hot take. I'm not a fan of cookie dough.
Wow.
Yeah, lame
This
of me.
guy. Clearly, we're not hungry.
we just devoured some dumplings.
We were riding all day, and we just had dumplings, but you know how it is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. One more question. Out of all the 23 flavors of Dr. Pepper in the market today, would you still choose classic over anything else, or do you have a special Dr. Pepper flavor?
I actually have maybe tasted the cherry one, but I've never chosen to even try another kind of Dr. Pepper over the normal one.
Just classic.
Just the classic Dr. Pepper is just the best, and there's no. You could argue with me, but
What
it's
about?
still my opinion.
Do you drink Coke?
No, if a place doesn't have Dr. Pepper, I won't get soda.
Whoa.
Just water. Yeah.
What if they have mug, like the root beer?
I'm not a fan of root beer. I don't like it.
It's kind of similar though. I feel like Dr. Pepper has a little hint of root beer.
I know what you mean.
Maybe a little hint, but nah.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Have you reached out to Dr. Pepper to get a sponsorship?
I have, but not in a lot of years. I've sent an application twice, but it's like probably 5-6 years ago.
Like a Dr. Pepper kit, a Dr. Pepper helmet.
A Dr. Pepper helmet.
That
would
would be
sweet.
so sick.
That would be sick.
Yeah, it's always been one of my goals in life to get free Dr. Pepper for life.
Oh.
That would be good.
Well, reach out. You never know. Now you have a bigger following, bigger audience.
I think for a company like that, I need to get a manager. Like managers, athletes get managers and they do business deals. And it sounds like to try to get a sponsor that's out of the industry, you have to get a manager because mountain bike companies are easy to talk to. Mm-hmm. They're mountain bikers, but I don't know much about the business world outside of mountain bike culture. So I may have to get a manager for that submission.
Yeah. If Specialized would let you choose like a custom color for one of your bikes, would you do it like Dr. Pepper theme? Or is that too much?
Maybe. I don't know. I think it's giving Dr. Pepper too much advertisement for free.
Free advertisement.
They gotta pay me. They gotta buy me that Sprinter van first.
Or at least free Dr. Pepper for life, at the very least. But yeah, color. I used to have a VW bus, like a 71 VW bus, way back when, and I always wanted to paint it. This is my description of the color, like a slate bluish gray color with a peach tinted clear coat. Like, I don't know how much you guys have driven in the desert and then seen like the desert mountains with the sunset behind them. Like there's just this color that like I associate with it because I see it when there's like a desert sunset, and just like that color of the shadowy mountains with the sunset behind it is just gorgeous.
Nice. That would be a dope color. Yep. I think I get the picture of what you're saying.
It's hard. It's kind of hard to describe.
I spend my time in the desert.
Yeah, I know you're talking about though.
I dabble.
The Purple Canyon kind of look. Yeah.
Sweet. Well, I think that's all the questions we have for you today, Chelsea. Thanks for coming on the ride with us today. It was awesome getting to rip around SF with you.
I had so much fun.
Yeah, thank you for towing us into the shoot. That was awesome.
Yeah, Chelsea towed us through a shoot that we've looked at for years, and then she just showed up and hits it first try.
Yeah, first try.
Shout out for that.
And then you all hit it first try.
Yeah, I was scared to death, but that was awesome. Thank you so much for coming. If you have any words you want to say, the microphone is yours. Any word for your sponsor or anything? Yeah.
Any words? Let's see. If you're a mountain biker, go to events and like meet people and like be open to meeting new people. The mountain bike community is pretty, at least in my experience, and most people that I talk to, like the mountain bike community is very accepting and open to a lot of people. So go out there and meet other mountain bikers and enjoy it. Just like the jam the other day that I met you guys at. I love it. It's so much fun. Just the mountain bike community is awesome. You meet awesome people, and then you never know where it will take you.
Sweet. Well, thanks again for coming by. It's awesome having you here. Our first guest also.
Yeah, set the bar really hard.
Set the bar really high.
Yeah.
But yeah, sweet. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you guys.
Thanks.